Thank God it's Friday. This was a long week. Man, this was a long week. There's a lot going on in my life. And so this was probably going to be like a thought stream of consciousness / a way to keep myself awake while I'm out here trying to make some extra coinage for the family. And some extra coinage so I can buy a CV joint assembly for my 2003, because I'm tired of this thing jerking like the little internet could. So we're gonna have to fix that. I'm supposed to be turning up here somewhere. Yeah, man. I ain't got a lot of light in this car. I don't even know why I stream in this car, honestly, because it's not a lot of light. People don't like that sometimes, it seems like. It's a lot going on in the world. You got Israel. It seems like they are wrapping up the war in Gaza. And hold on before I get in that. Hang on one second. Yeah. GPS. Come on, man. Show me love. So you got Israel wrapping up the war in Gaza, I guess they wrapping up the war in Gaza, and then it really seems like Netanyahu is out here just trying to hold on to power. Like, his time is up. His time in office is up. He's not popular, but basically it seems like he just kind of keeps stuff going, not really getting problems solved, starting beefs with neighbors just so he can kind of stay in power. Because I feel like he believes that as long as he started the war, or he started a little situation, they're not going to want or to be able to go on to something else. I feel like that's his strategy. Hang on. Just had to figure out where I was going. Just basically just started a beef, started a war, and he's the leader of that crew. And usually you don't want to switch leaders in the middle of a war. That's what I feel like the game plan was with him. And low-key, it's kind of like what Ukraine did. Ukraine and Russia. Now, obviously, Ukraine didn't make Russia invade them. They thought that Russia wasn't going to invade them. They were probably wishing that they wouldn't invade them. And, of course, they did like 2+ years ago. And at the time, Zelensky, his administration was having all types of accusations for corruption, and he wasn't very popular. But he crafted this image for himself. I understand he's an actor or something, and he crafted this image, and with that image, he was able to just gain a little bit of popularity, where you had this David and Goliath, and everywhere you see this guy, he's got like the
new message from Theranar. Please leave it on the cardboard box by the door, thanks.
And I must be getting close. So yeah, he started a fight, and they thought it was going to be over in 3 days, and it wasn't. And like the longer it went on, the more popular he got. And so I feel like maybe Netanyahu thought that was going to happen for him, but it's not really playing out like that, because by him prolonging the conflict and not making any like compromises with his enemy, he's just kind of prolonged it. More hostages have died in the interim, and it's just kind of an overall bad situation. And so that's a big TV. Wow, this is a nice neighborhood. That was a big TV in the garage. That TV was like 80 inches on a garage wall. This is where I'm going. Left on Creek Trail, 1 Creek Drive. Oh, you know what? I was almost about to buy that house right there when I moved into Montgomery. Almost bought that house. That's so crazy. It probably looks a little bit. Wait a minute. Is this it? Probably looks a little bit better than my house right now, honestly. Okay. Not gonna lie, it's a little creepy out here. Little creepy. People are getting ready for Halloween, and it's a little dark. A little dark. Suburbs looks like a horror movie, almost. All right, let me see. That's it. Please don't hit any cars. I can't see anything.
New message from Theranar. Please leave it on the cardboard.
So yeah, why was this week so long? So I ran into a situation where, so you see me with my ugly colored coyote brown or whatever color this is shirt. This is like my military shirt. Oh, armadillo. Come on, Dillo. I almost hit an armadillo, y'all. Hold up. Let me see if he's still in the street. There he is. Almost hit him. Look at him. Run along, little fella. So here I am in the military, and in the military, every rank as an officer, every time you make a rank, you serve in that rank for a certain amount of years, and then after a certain amount of years passes, they will send you to a promotion board. And that promotion board, the whole thing is, all right, we're going to evaluate your records, and we're going to see if based on your, I don't know if I'm going the right way, based on your records, you are eligible to promote to the next level. So promotion calls for more responsibility, and if they select you, it means that you've demonstrated that, hey, you can handle more responsibility. Well, I went up for promotion on 2 different occasions. So the first time I went up, wasn't selected, and I was really kind of confused because my my commanding officer, we sat down, and he's like, yeah, you had a rough patch when you got major, but you know, you've done great here, and we're gonna select you. We're gonna give you a strong push. We can't push you as a definitely promote, but we can give you the strongest push. And so that's what they did. They gave me, the promotion system is promote, no, it's do not promote, promote, and definitely promote. And so most of your people will get a promote. And then maybe, depending on the size of your unit, a handful of people will get a um, definitely promote. I'm going the wrong way. Wait a minute. Hold on. I might be going the right way. Okay. False start. And so, um, I gotta promote, but even though they select like an option, they still have a part where they can just talk a little bit about you as a person and what they believe you should, where you should fall. And so I was selected as a promote, but in the narrative where they talked about who I was as a person, they said a lot of, I think, decent things, good things about me. They even quantified where I ranked amongst my peers. And at the time of the promotion, I was in the top 10, top 20% of my peers. And so when I saw that, I was like, cool, I'm good. Go ahead and load up the calendar with some trips. We're gonna buy you this, we're gonna buy you that, babe. Kids, we getting this, we getting that. Because daddy's about to get another promotion. And then results of the promotion come out, and lo and behold, you were not selected for promotion. The thing that was confusing was, again, I was ranked in the top 10, top 20%, and in that narrative, they also wrote definitely promote. So that's a way that commanders can say, all right, well, numerically, I'm only allowed to say these many people can promote, definitely promote, but like if I was able to say it more, he would have been included in there. Definitely promote. And so I wasn't selected for whatever, wasn't picked up, and it was funny because what commanders do is they have a sit down with you beforehand, and they kind of like give you like a forecast of what they think. And mine said, you should be good. That was his thing. Like, you should be good. Um, it's not a for sure because again, you had some reports where it wasn't ranked as high, but you should be good. And so that should be good. I took that like it's okay. I'm gonna be good. I've been ranked well, and so everything's gonna work out. We're gonna view this positively. But anyway, so I wasn't selected. Then when it came back that I wasn't selected, my boss, now before he told me, we'll see, you should be good. But then when I wasn't selected, he was like, well, you remember we said it was like a 50-50. It's like, well, no, I don't remember you said 50-50, but that's okay. That's fine. And so then the next time I got put up for promotion, and that year I was probably gone 4 out of the 12 months of that year. And long story short, I didn't get a good report. I also got a bad officer performance report. And it was just really a hit job almost on my career. It was almost like my boss at the time, he just said, you know what, you're not cut out for this, so I'm basically gonna kill your career. He wrote a bad report at a pivotal time. So the thing about lieutenant colonel is you are looked at on 3 different occasions. And if you don't get selected those 3 times, you're probably not going to get selected. The percentages would say you're probably not going to get selected. And so by him giving or marking me so poorly on my second report, it pretty much just took me out the running because I would have to have, an amazing report, like several amazing reports. Because remember, I didn't say it, but the thing is when I first made major, I got some bad reports, and then I went to a new unit, um, and I bust my tail, and they said, well, we're gonna, try to see what we could do to recover your career. And so I did well, but not well enough, I guess. And so McDonald's is back that way. Okay. Um. Yeah, I ended up not getting selected the second time, and so now here I am going up for the third time. Now with the jacked up thing is about this time is I am not actually going to have a chance because the Air Force went into a new rating system. And that new rating system, it caused a shift in when officers meet for promotion. And so I didn't have a full year between two promotion recommendation boards. And so the short of it is I pretty much am getting two reports that are going to say the same thing, just a guy. And so obviously, if I didn't make it the second time, I shouldn't make it the third. Yeah. So I just dozed off. Sorry, don't pay attention to that. So the crazy thing is even though I have those three reports of not being selected, and by all means and by all probability, it's not going to happen. I'm crazy enough to just believe God. And I know people be like, oh, you're going to try to blame God and all of that stuff. I don't. Um, I, I, I had the weirdest career in the military. I almost crashed that man. I hope y'all didn't see that. Um, I literally almost got in an accident. He swerved to not get hit. I probably shouldn't be doing this. But anyway, yeah, this was not the first time me not being selected for lieutenant colonel was not the first time I had ever been skipped for promotion. I was skipped from being selected as a captain. So there was like two promotion boards. Usually captain is an automatic thing, and like right now, captain is an automatic thing. You serve your time, you don't get in trouble, you make the rank. And so it just so happened for 2 years of my career, they decided, oh yeah, no, we're gonna board those guys because we need to change the size of the force, and this is the way we can get rid of people. And so for 2 years, they did promotion boards. The first time I went up for the promotion board, I wasn't selected. And the reason why I wasn't selected was not because I wasn't a good officer or anything, but because administratively, they chose to not select me because I was missing something from my record. Now, I ended up going to the next board with that missing information in my record, and I was selected. There are some ways in the military system where if for some reason you're able to get new information added to your record, you can compete for a promotion board and for a promotion board, and if you're selected, you can still make rank. And so it's kind of like a way to like right a historical wrong. None of that stuff has ever happened for me, even though it was due to no fault of my own. I just had to suck it up and just take it. And so this like blog or conscious thought stream was not supposed to be like a bashing the military thing, because even though a lot of bad has happened to me in my career, in the Air Force, I still love it, and I still like, as difficult as it is as of a sacrifice to be pulled away from your family, to be separated from your friends and everything that you know, and to have to move every few years, to uproot your kids from their social circles. As difficult as all of that stuff is, they are going to have to peel me away from the Air Force. The sad part is, as a result of me not being selected to to the next rank, I was then I don't know how to say it, but I'll just kind of tell the situation. Normally, as long as you're promoting, you have an indefinite time of service. But when you stop getting promoted, the Air Force says, aha, you're going to be administratively separated. And so now I am at that point when I didn't get selected for the next rank. Now I fell into that window of where I'm going to be administratively separated. Thank God that separation is going to be after 20 years, so that would still allow me to qualify for retirement. But one thing I know about God is his plan is always going to work out better than your plan. And so my plan, like before I came into the military, I had all of these questions because I felt like there was a calling on my life that God had placed on me. And I asked my pastor at the time, like, I was like, Bishop, I feel like God is calling me, and I don't know if I'm supposed to go to the military or not. And he assured me, he was like, no, God can use you wherever you are at. And so with that, I was like, well, I'm going to the military. And so there was this time though that I was like, man, I ain't going to the military. Forget it. I'm going to do whatever I need to do for the Lord. And so I just believe with that type of mindset that you can't help but be blessed by God. And so for me, that's where my faith is, that God is ordering my steps. The Bible says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. I'm going the wrong way. They about to cancel this order. Hold on. And so I just believe God, and that's my mindset. That, this is not the first time that you are up against hardship, and this is not going to be the last time that you're up against hardship. But one thing and one testimony that you will have is that God was with you. And so that whole detour of a story was all about kind of showing how I'm at this place today where I'm just exhausted. I probably have one of the best jobs in the Air Force, and that is professional military education. Professional military education is this thing where the higher up you get, the more selective it becomes. And so I'm at the first level of officer professional military education, or OPME, and that is Squadron Officer School. And every captain in the Air Force, in active duty Air Force, goes to squadron officer school. So I'm dropping gems. I probably should make a video on this. I mean, people a lot of times don't like to listen to videos about this, but I think like if a person that looked like me want to get game from a person that looked like me, eh, I could do that all day. Um, but yeah, that whole story was just to show like why I'm so exhausted when I'm working at the best job in the Air Force. The reason is because, like I said, I'm up against it. Like all of the odds are stacked against me, but my mindset is show your leadership that, like, yeah, I know the odds. I know what the odds are, but there's no quitting this dog, because like my last group, they told my new commander. So every time you go to a news unit, um, people have this like biasing thing of asking that previous person that you worked for, like, what am I getting? Who is this guy? And what my previous guy told my boss was, I'm just a guy. So just a guy is like, that's a hardcore insult for a person that gives like their um, best. And that's the type of dude I am. Um, I'm a dude to give my best, and I know I'm not just a guy. And I think my peers know that I'm not just a guy. And I think even the leader knows that I'm not just a guy. I think when they say just a guy, I'm not their guy. And in other words, the military has this problem where it is basically run by white men. And white men like to see other white men run things. And so you can have people that are not in that demographic that probably have more ability and greater potential, but they will not be pushed because, yeah, I don't see myself in you. And so that's where I'm at. Um, that's where I believe, honestly. Like, he just couldn't see himself in me. Like, for a while, I mean, if you see my face, like, my face is jacked up because I shave every day. I got, like, bad um, razor bumps on the neck and everything, but
Hi,
hang
are
on.
you a McDonald's My Rewards member? If so, what is your code?
So, like, um, the thing that's kind of like the thing that I run into. Like, people, a lot of times, they like to promote people that remind themselves of them. And I think that's like this, like, self validation type of thing. Like, the reason why I'm recommending you for promotion is because you remind me of me. And the reason why I'm recommending you is because I think that I should be promoted. I don't know. It's like this self-licking ice cream cone, and I think that's what we have in the military, and that's why for years you don't have a lot of um, minorities in positions of like leadership. And I know people be like, "What are you talking about? The highest ranking person is a black man." Yeah, that's true. He is, but I mean, that's like saying we had a black president. Yeah, that's true. We did. But that don't mean all the problems went away. And that doesn't mean that all of a sudden everything is like equal playing field and fair. And I know people would be like, "Oh, well, affirmative action is not equal and it's not fair." Okay. I mean, I could see that argument and I get that. Um, but it's just this whole thing about legacy. Legacy of an entire system, corrupt system that's set up to keep people that look like me down. It's like, oh, nobody's trying to hold you back. Nobody's trying to hold you down. Aren't you though? If I can't go to, if I have the same type of credit score or a better credit score, um, and like all things being equal except for race, and I can't qualify for certain interest rates just because of that, even though I like might have a better credit score than somebody, it might have more money, better debt to income ratio, all of that stuff, but you see like black, and then all of a sudden I get like red line. Um, if I am forced to go to like schools that are just subpar, um, if I live in a city and the part of the city that I live in is demographically less white than another part, and so we subsequently end up getting less funding because property values and property tax and all of these things, like the entire system is just like set up against um, translating generational wealth and all of these crazy things is just set up against me. Like you, Mr. White Man, might not personally be um, setting about holding people down, but like policy is what holds people down, and the execution of that policy. The same way you can have people that commit the same crime, um, but just based on the color of skin, you're gonna get more time recommended than this person. Y'all did the same thing, got the same basic record, but I'm gonna give you more time because of you're bad. And so I mean that's the thing that we work against. Um, and like people stereotypes, like one of the things that I get is like my students have told me like, oh man, like when we saw like how laid back you were, um, I was the suspect, like, oh man, this isn't gonna be good. But the approach that you brought to the class, it actually made it a better environment, a more conducive to learning and exchange with fellow officers. And so thank you. And so, just like basically blowing their biases out the water. But the thing that kind of perplexes me is like, well, what about me is more laid back than than others? Is it because my speech pattern is slower? Like my peers, I mean, let's just be clear, be real. Typically, when you speak in, um, depending on what you're speaking, I speak AAVE, African American Vernacular English, and that beats per minute is a little bit lower. It's a little bit slower, just based on where I'm from, how I grew up, what I was exposed to. Um, and sure, I can try to fit in, get in where I fit in. But I mean, 15 years has taught me, almost 16 years has taught me, if people don't like you, they're not gonna like you. And so you just better off being your authentic self. And actually, the airmen benefit more from you being
Hi,
that
are
authentic
you a
you.
McDonald's driver or a
And so that's kind
DoorDash?
of what I
If
bring.
so, what is your
I'm
code?
just gonna keep it real. And I'm gonna be me.
Order when you're ready.
Um, Even though I'm on a shaving waiver, you can see my face. I'm on the shaving waiver. I don't shave. I mean, I don't not shave because I'm familiar with the stigma that's attached to it.
Are you interested in some John Boy type
I think
work?
that was a big thing, a big part, honestly, of why I might have been even viewed as just a guy. Like,
Like that is on
I've
Bubba?
actually heard leadership say that they don't think facial hair is professional, even though you got a medical condition. And the medical experts have said you should not be shaving. If I'm following, that's like if you take medicine like ibuprofen for your back pain and or Motrin for your back pain, you know, that shouldn't be held against you, right? You got back pain. You take medicine when you have a problem. So I got a problem, but when I take the treatment that the doctor prescribed, he's a dirtbag. Look at him; he doesn't care about his career. That's because that was the assumption. One of a retired lieutenant colonel pulled me to the side, and he was like, "Hey," they call me Action. Hey, Action, you know that's he touched his face and it's like he wanted to see if I was hip to the game, and I was like, oh yeah, I know, I'm tracking, I got it that it's viewed negatively, but I mean I don't care. My face been getting assaulted, and so I'm just not gonna shave, and so I did that, and I kept that unshaved face, and that thing. In hindsight, clearly I don't have an unshaved face today, so clearly I learned a lesson. And that lesson was shave. Like, as much as you can fit in, try to fit in. I'm never gonna change like who I am as a person. Like I have I'm not fluent in middle-aged white guy. Like I understand it better than I speak it. Let's put it like that. Um, but I'm just not gonna be that dude just coming to work, just talking through my nose, talking real fast, and like walking like somebody pushing me in my butt. I ain't gonna do that. I do walk fast. Every time people see me, they like, man, you always look like you on a mission. One thing I learned is like if you look busy, people won't mess with you. So I just do that. I always walk faster than what I have to because people think that I'm doing something or I'm taking care of something. So, um, but yeah, man, I just been working like crazy overtime. Like all of the projects that people don't like. Hey, welcome to the chat, man. It's just you. Um, but all of the things that people don't like to do, the jobs that people don't want to do, them the ones that I volunteer for. And a lot can be said for that. Part of it could be like that doesn't matter. But one of the things that one of my homeboys told me, he was like, "Hey man, you got to be so good that your boss's boss takes notice." And to me, like right now, that makes sense because my boss's boss is the same person that signs the form for my promotion recommendation. And so if he know my name, if he see me, if like he's familiar with my work and he sees my leadership, I feel like that just helps me in the long run. Um, but I think the place that I didn't understand, it's like that African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you gotta go with a village. I think that adage is like perfect for field grade officers. As a CGO, they like to see company grade officer, which is like a lieutenant or a captain. They want to see how well you can do, what you are as a person. But as a field grade officer, what they don't tell you is that don't even matter how much you can do as a person. Your ability to look the part matters. Your ability to be counted on matters. But like you don't have to be the best worker. And I that is what I the mistake I've been making is I've been trying to be the best worker still. It's not the best worker, it's the best leader. And so that's the person that can get a group of individuals. Like, let me take a group of my peers and let me lead you all, talk you all through this project. Guys, we got a promotion ceremony coming up. This is what we need X, Y, Z. What I did, still operating like a CGO, I'm going to take all of this stuff and I'm going to just do it myself. And, some things are going to come out well, and some things, we're going to fake it till we make it. But as a field grade officer, hindsight says, yeah, what you should have did is you should have got your team, let everybody see that you had a team of fellow majors, and you all did a project, and it came together. and it was successful. Now on the day of, I'm gonna have people working and walking and helping out, but the idea is the entire trip you should be leading people. And so nobody told me that. I just kind of put it together like, okay, they don't care how smart you are. They just wanted to be able to know that other people look to you for direction. Yes. No, Uber Eats. Okay. Um, and so, yeah, man, um, that's what it is. Learning lessons, hitting 16 years, still love the military. I got the best job in the military. Being able to interact with captains, being able to put captains on game, being able to give a person like the person that gave me the feedback, they thought my laid back demeanor, which in other words was, hey man, I thought because you wasn't acting white, I thought it wasn't gonna work, but you changed my view. Like being able to open somebody's eyes to like, hey, everybody doesn't have to act like you or look like you or project like you to get the job and move the mission. I think that is a success. But also just being able to offer mentorship. Um, I had this white female, like captain. She was amazing. The last class, and don't Dr. Umar me because it wasn't that type of situation. But like she's like in this male dominated, like the military is already male dominated, but she's like in special ops, which is extra male dominated. And like she was always just like going hard and going above and beyond, and she made my job easier. And so like I sat her down at the end of the class. Like she ended up being the top student in my class, but I sat her down and I just like tried to build into her. And after that feedback, she was like, wow, nobody's ever told me that. And I'm like, that's crazy. But it's not. Because again, who runs the military? Not white women, white men. And white men like to see other white men running the military. And so that means white women will promote you more than this guy. Uber Eats. Yeah, so yeah. So it's guys that look like us probably gonna get promoted a little bit lesser. I probably should be the field grade officer of the quarter, just because of all of the projects and all of the things that I've done above my peers. Um, but I bet you my squadron commander, my boss, won't even be like, hey, we should tag Leroy. Leroy's done a lot this quarter. I already know that ain't gonna happen. I ain't even gonna play myself to think that's gonna happen. But as a almost 16-year vet, I know I have to advocate for myself. And so that form is called a 1206. It's an awards form. That joint is going to be filled out as soon as they talk about, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, email, here you go, sir. This is what I did. Go ahead. You got a winner. Go ahead and send that up. Go ahead. You got that. Because when I first met that dude, he was like, he sized me up real quick. And he was just like, I could hear it. It was like N-word. I could hear it. He didn't say it. But like the first time I saw him as in he was my boss, or he was going to be talking to another tall, like he's to a junior ranking officer, but he's tall. He's like the tallest dude in the squadron with that. And he's like looking up to him because he got a little man complex, and he's looking up to him, and like he looks back at me as I'm walking behind him, and then he just kind of like glanced sideways and then looked back to what he was doing. That was my first interaction, and so that's why I could hear that N word just being blasted out. Like, wait your turn or get away. something like that. And after that, I was just like, he gets no energy from me. So that's when I took on the mindset of my boss's boss will just have to know about me because he's not gonna care. But yeah, man.
New message from Love Your A.
Ooh, she said, okay, boo. Ooh, oh, watch out now. Watch out. Talk about okay, boo. Please don't play with these ladies, man. Play with these ladies, man. Have to come to somebody door see some naked body. Don't do it. Have to come to somebody door see some naked body. Don't do it. Oh, have mercy. Wait, where are we going? You know where I'm going. Man, it feels so good out here. You wouldn't even know a hurricane just passed or just kissed the state, the great state of Alabama, sweet home Alabama. Uh, yeah, it's kind of dead in the chat tonight. DED. People don't want to talk about uh, military. People don't want to talk about work on a Friday. That's crazy. I mean, I do. I love what I do. I really do. Yeah, man. So hopefully I can get that. Hopefully I can get that promotion, man. Like I probably was. I mean, don't tell my wife this, but I probably would serve 30 years. No question. Um, my parents are older. Um, and so that is like one of those things that's like um, a, a soft spot for me, like a point of contention. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It's weird. There's been a lot of people, like, since I've been in the military, there's been a lot of people that I grew up with that have passed away and gone. And it's the weirdest thing, like, not being I understand why we have funerals as, like, humans. Because not being able to see a person have moved on or passed on is traumatic, man. Because it's almost like when I go back home, like, so my grandpa passed away, my cousin killed since I've been in the military. But like my head knows that they no longer here, but for my heart, it just seems like, oh nah, I'm still out of town. I'm they out of town. That's how like my mind, my emotions, I think, my heart, it deals with the loss. It's just like, oh no, it's because y'all not in the same place anymore. And honestly, that's what the military is like. It's almost like um, you get separated so much so to the point where you might as well just be dead to your family and your relatives, um, because y'all are separated. It's like I don't know. It's weird. That's a little bit. Um, that's a little bit heavy, but that's what it feels like. And so for me, like the only reason I probably at this point I wouldn't even go back to where I left because it's not home for me anymore. Home is where the heart is. Where my heart is with my baby. So wherever she at, that's where I'm good. Even with my kids, eventually they gonna grow up. They gonna leave. All of them. They gonna grow up. They gonna leave. As long as it seems like they ain't never gonna leave, but they gonna leave one day. And it's just gonna be me and my baby. So as long as I got her with me, good, good. So yeah, man. I really gotta get that next frame. I want that thing so bad. Let me tell a story. So one time I had it was when I was a captain, and I had a tech sergeant, and a tech sergeant, he was this hard nosed, rough around the edges, great worker. His people have a love hate relationship with him, but um, he had some bad reports. And so, as a result of those bad reports, he couldn't promote to the next rank. He got passed over. And so, I would tell him, was like, man, come on, man. His name was Beamy. I was like, man, Beamy, I'm gonna work with you, baby. Just don't quit, man. We gonna get this together. Stick with me. And he's like, nah, I don't care. I'm gonna just retire a text. I can retire a text sergeant. I don't care. I was like, nah, bro, that's not what we doing. You too good of a leader. I see it. I know it. The Air Force is just slow to catch up. Don't worry. And so um, he wasn't really feeling it. Um, but then he went up for promotion and he didn't get picked. And then he saw the peers that did get picked. And that right there, he was like, that dude was a dirtbag. He's a scumbag. And that was what lit a fire under him. And so now I'm at that situation. Now I helped them. We helped him. We worked with him a lot to get him to that next rank. And we put him on Front Street for my bosses. Um, so my bosses could see how amazing he was. He did his part, but there was a part that the leader also had to do to push him forward. And so he ended up getting selected for Master Sergeant. And and so now I find myself in that position where for a minute, like after they passed me over, that first time I was just like, well, whatever. Because they were like, oh, Leroy, you're gonna have to do. They try to tell me in order for me to get selected, you're gonna have to do two jobs. Never mind the fact that one of the jobs was being occupied by a person in the next rank, um, and never mind the other job was being done by a person that was my rank. And so there's that old adage that you got to be twice as nice. I literally had a boss. He wasn't my supervisor, but he was my military kind of like unofficial supervisor. He told me I got to be twice as nice. And normally that saying that's from one black officer to another black officer. This was a white man that said that to me. Um, he didn't say that in those words, but he said if I want to get promoted, I'm gonna have to do both of these jobs. Guess what I did? I didn't do both of those jobs. With reason. The new boss didn't want me to do one of the jobs that the lieutenant colonel, that job actually went away because he didn't want to do the work that the guy was doing. And then um, I had sick kids, and I chose my sick kids. And I had a sick spouse, and I chose my sick kid, my sick spouse over my job. And so I still have my family intact. My kids are here, they're well, but I ain't got that rank. But I'll take my family over a job any day. But that's enough blabbering for me. Um, Somebody come back and watch it later. I feel like it's not really popping right now. YouTube ain't really popping for me. Um, but honestly, talking is like therapy. You can get through your feelings. A lot of times you don't even know how you feel until you put it on wax. So thank you, YouTube, for being a space for me to put it on wax. Uh, Anyway, it's 12 o'clock. I'm tired in the mug. I'm about to go in this house, put these kids to bed because they up in there screaming. I already know.